Hi everyone, welcome to a new video going through PMI's 5th edition of the standard for program management. I am super excited today as we're all almost made it. This is the last performance domain, life cycle management. And I believe most of you are already familiar with most of its contents, as you may find a high resemblance between program and project lifecycle management. This is primarily due to the fact that programs function similarly to projects where programs are defined, benefits are delivered, and eventually programs get closed. However, programs involve the coordination and sequencing of multiple components above what is required at an individual project level. Before going any further, this is Project Management Illustrated and me, Ahmed Amer. Some time back, we started our journey through Chapter 3 of this standard. Chapter 3 covers the 6 program management performance domains. We started with a strategic alignment where we identify program outputs and outcomes to provide benefits aligned with organizational strategy goals and objectives. We've gone through key program artifacts such as program business case, program charter, and program management plan. We also demonstrated how important it is to start working on the program risk management strategy and how environmental assessments play an important role there. Then we moved into benefits management performance domain, the domain that defines, creates, optimizes, delivers, and sustains the benefits provided by the program. We talked about the 5 processes of this domain and how we started with benefits identification, then benefits analysis and planning, then benefits delivery, benefits transition, and finally, benefits sustainment. We stated how program documents such as benefits register, benefits management plan, benefits transition plan, and benefits management plan are developed. Then we jumped into stakeholder engagement, the performance domain that covers the identification and analysis of stakeholder needs and manages their expectations and communications to ensure their support to the program. We talked about other program documents such as stakeholder register, stakeholder map, power interest grid, program stakeholder engagement plan, and communications plan. We also covered some critical roles within any program such as program sponsor, program governance board, and others. The fourth performance domain we covered was governance framework. We demonstrated how governance framework enables and performs program decision making, establishes practices to support the program, maintains program oversight, and ensures compliance with standards and regulations. Together, we covered the governance framework purpose and definition, practices and roles. Then, it was time for the newly added performance domain, collaboration. We talked about collaboration factors, how collaboration works for benefits realization, value delivery, and program components and activities. Today, we are at the last step of this chapter with life cycle management. Lifecycle management is the program management performance domain that manages the program lifecycle and the phases required to facilitate effective program definition, delivery, and closure. The definition itself tells us that there are 3 phases of any program: definition, delivery, and closure. We mentioned before that programs may consist of projects, subsidiary programs, and program-related activities. These are necessary to achieve the organization's goals and objectives. And we mentioned many times that program benefits must be aligned with the organization's goals and objectives. So, how can we achieve the program benefits without having a sort of common and consistent set of processes that can be applied across the 3 program phases? especially that all programs have their own level of uncertainty, change, complexity, and interdependency among their various components. The life cycle management performance domain has the answer. It spans the duration of the program during which it contributes to and integrates with the other program management performance domains as well as the supporting program phases. Whether programs last for several years or in some cases decades, all programs follow a similar trajectory. PMI gives us two different figures in the 5th edition standard to demonstrate the three phases of the program life cycle. Just pause for a second and you will see that benefits delivery is front and center in every phase of the program life cycle. Programs start with the definition phase. This phase consists of two subphases as the figure shows. The program has to be authorized first and develop its program business case, program charter, and program roadmap. Once these documents are developed, reviewed, and approved, the program management plan is prepared. The second phase is the program delivery phase. This is where all the action takes place when it comes to producing the intended results of each component in accordance with the program management plan. Yes, the program management plan we just developed in the definition phase. As you can see, everything flows naturally. Throughout this phase, individual components are initiated, planned, executed, monitored, controlled, evaluated, and closed, while benefits are mostly delivered, transitioned, and sustained. This is an important point to watch out for. Why? We talked about how sometimes benefits get realized long after a program ends. Or maybe the organization's strategy changes and the program just is not needed anymore. So it gets terminated. Finally, the program closure phase. Here we group all closing activities. The phase covers the program closure through archiving the documents, transferring the lessons learned to organizational process assets or OPAs, refunding the remaining budget, rolling off the resources, and transferring the remaining risk to the organization or more specifically the operations as the work will be moved over to them. Let's start now with the first phase of the program lifecycle. The core purpose of the definition phase is getting the program authorized, program benefits identified, and develop the program management plan. To set the scene, imagine an organization with a bunch of goals lined up for a program, but the benefits are not quite clear yet. And most importantly, the green light to kick things off still has not come through. The primary purpose in this phase is to progressively elaborate the goals and objectives to be addressed by the program, define the expected program benefits and outcomes, and seek approval for the program. At this point, you might be able to think that the definition phase typically includes steps led by the organization's business case to fulfill strategic objectives or achieve a desired state within an organization portfolio. These steps can be executed to authorize the program and develop the program management plan required to achieve the program's expected results. You might also be able to think above and beyond this phase and whatever comes prior to it. programs are not there by coincidence. There may be a number of steps executed by a portfolio management body prior to the start of the program definition phase. The portfolio management body may develop initial requirements, high-level timelines, scope frameworks, what can be reasonable costing, and concepts such as products, services, and organizational outcomes. Program definition phase splits into two distinct but overlapping subphases: program formulation and program planning. The program manager is selected and assigned during program formulation. The program formulation subphase is where the program business case gets developed. As we covered already, the program business case states the overall program expected benefits supporting the organization's strategic initiatives. The program formulation phase is when the program sponsor gets assigned by the sponsoring organization. Please refer to the previous videos to get more familiar with the program sponsor roles and responsibilities. Once the program manager is assigned and gets their roles, responsibilities, and organizational interfaces defined, they should jump to guide the program formulation phase and facilitate the development of the required outcomes. It's now time for both the program sponsor and program manager, with the support of the sponsoring organization, to initiate studies and estimates of scope, resources, and cost. Develop an initial risk assessment and other high-level assessment such as scope, finance, schedule, resource, change, quality, communication, procurement, and information. And finally, develop a program charter and program management plan with milestones. Be mindful that the studies of scope, resources, and cost are helpful in assessing the organization's ability to deliver the program. At this point in the program's life cycle, the program prioritization takes place against other organizational programs using all available information. This information may serve as an important input into the creation of the business case if it was not developed yet by the portfolio management body. However, if the business case was already developed prior to program formulation phase, the business case get reviewed and updated where applicable. The initial risk assessment is conducted to analyze threats and opportunities. This analysis helps the program team to determine the probability of the program's successful delivery of its planned benefits and identify risk response strategies and response plans. The document that gives the program managers the authority to commence their program is the program charter. It also provides program managers with the authority to allocate organizational resources to program phases and connect the program to the organization's ongoing work and strategic priorities. The program charter serves as the primary document to decide if the program will be authorized. If the program falls under a portfolio structure, then it should be reviewed by the portfolio management body. However, if this was a standalone program, then the program charter will be reviewed by a suitable governing body. If the program is not authorized at all, this decision should be recorded and captured in a lessons learned repository. All program documentation should be appropriately archived as per the governance framework. Program definition phase may be repeated throughout the life cycle of the program. Accordingly, as business results are measured and the planned outcomes become more defined, the outcomes of program formulation may continue to be updated throughout the program definition phase. Let's now move to the planning subphase. We just covered in the previous slide who holds the authority to approve or reject the program charter. The planning subphase kicks in once the program charter gets approved by the program sponsor. The core objective now is to get the program management plan developed. But this is not everything. A governance structure should be established, an initial program organization should be defined, and a program team should be brought together. The program management plan is developed based on the organization's strategic plan, business case, program charter, and any other outcomes as they emerge during the program formulation subphase. Just a heads up, these are pretty much all the documents we have got since the organization first started thinking about launching a new program. This plan can be considered as the source of truth as it integrates the program's subsidiary plans and establishes the management controls and overall plan for integrating and managing the program's individual components. The management controls we are referring to are used to measure the program's performance against the program management plan using the information obtained from the constituent projects and components. This is the standard process of comparing actuals versus baseline using the defined controls that take place in any projectized environment. Generally, the program management plan enables the program to stay aligned with the organization's strategic priorities to deliver the planned benefits. This implies that iterations and changes will be there throughout the program's lifecycle. This is due to updates in critical program factors such as business goals, deliverables, benefits, time, and cost. Accordingly, revisions to the program management plan, its roadmap, and its subsidiary plans will take place. These revisions are either approved or rejected by the program steering committee. The program management plan may be combined into one plan or multiple plans that include the following subsidiary documents: benefits management plan, stakeholder engagement plan, governance plan, change management plan, communications management plan, financial management plan, information management plan, procurement management plan, quality management plan, resource management plan, risk management plan, schedule management plan, scope management plan. When the program management plan is reviewed and formally approved, the program delivery phase begins. Let's talk now about the second phase of program's life cycle. You may think of the program delivery phase as a container that have all the required activities leading to produce the intended results of each component in accordance with the program management plan. Since these results are integrated into the program to achieve its planned benefits, it makes sense to look at the delivery phase in an iterative way. The work done in this phase includes the program and its components. This work is overseen by the program team to ensure program components are set for successful completion. In order to do so, component management plans are developed at the component level, then integrated at the program level. This takes place to ensure alignment with the program direction to deliver the program benefits. The interactions among components are managed throughout the program in order to set the program for success. These interactions can take place to accomplish goals, manage changes, and address risks and issues. As we mentioned before, programs have a high level of uncertainty. Of course, we spend significant time to mitigate this, but we can't know everything about the program components. To tackle this uncertainty, you as a program manager need to use this concept of progress evaluation to allow for adaptations as the program is executed. You're also responsible for managing program components in a coordinated way to achieve results that could not be obtained by managing the components individually. This is part of the core definition of programs as we covered in Chapter 1. During the program delivery phase, each program component will go through the following program delivery subphases: component authorization and planning, component oversight and integration, and component transition and closure. Be mindful that the entire component's life cycle occurs during the program delivery phase. Program delivery ends when the program steering committee or governance board determines that the specific criteria for this phase has been met, or maybe a decision is made to terminate the program before that. Since we just mentioned that program delivery phase is the place where all components phases take place, let's talk more about this. Each component has a business case, and any component requires initiation prior to its authorization. The initiation has to meet the organization's criteria, which mostly can be found in the program governance plan. There are a number of steps to verify that a component properly supports the program's outcomes and aligns with the organization's strategy and ongoing work. These steps may include performing a needs analysis, conducting a feasibility study, or creating a plan to ensure the projects achieve their expected outcomes. At the same time, the governance framework performance domain provides the required guidance for the component authorization process. Be mindful that component planning is performed throughout the duration of the program delivery phase. This is due to events that require significant replanning or even new component initiation requests. Component planning here includes the required steps to integrate the component into the program. Remember that components and projects don't work alone or even independently under programs. This integration is needed to position each component for successful execution. Some of these steps involve formalizing the component's scope of work and identifying the component deliverables that will satisfy the program's goals and benefits. Depending on the scoped work of the component, Corresponding management plans will be developed. These can be project management plan, or transition plan, or maintenance plan, or other type of plans. As mentioned a few slides back, the program management plan should incorporate the appropriate information from each component plan. The program management plan includes information used by the program to help manage and oversee the overall program's progress. When it comes to components oversight, it's obvious that each component team executes its associated plans and program integrative work. During this phase, component teams keeps providing component status, reports, and other information to the program manager and any associated components. Accordingly, the achieved work can be integrated into the overall program. Be mindful that in some cases, program manager may initiate a new component to consolidate the integration efforts of multiple components. This depends on the size and complexity of the integration efforts and the overall program. But what happens if this integration doesn't take place? Individual components may still be able to produce their deliverables. However, program benefits may not be realized without the required coordinated delivery. Please remember that some components may produce benefits individually, while some components should be integrated with others before the associated benefits can be realized. In other words, integration and coordination efforts are essential for a program to successfully deliver its planned benefits. The last step of components life cycle is the transition and closure. I am sure many of you would agree it's a natural step for program components to be closed or transitioned to operations once their deliverables have been produced. These deliverables can be products, services, or results. In order not to lose the value of these deliverables and ensure benefit sustainment, components have to be properly transitioned to the right recipients, whether these are operations or generally other operational support function. Examples can be, but not limited to, product support, service management, change management, user management, or customer support. Refer to the program governance plan for the transition criteria to follow. By closing all program components, it's implied that it might be the right time to close the program delivery phase. Before doing so, program managers have to review all components and verify benefits delivery status. Any remaining projects have to be transitioned. Programs can't simply look away from any open project work. Once this is done, the final status is reviewed with the program sponsor and the program steering committee before authorizing formal program closure. The last phase of program's life cycle is the closure phase. It covers the required activities to transition the realized program benefits to the benefits sustaining function and formally close the program. Do you remember this figure? We came across it for the first time during our talk about benefits management performance domain. It shows clearly how the program closure phase covers or overlaps both benefits transition and sustainment activities. During this phase, you as a program manager reach out to the program steering committee to determine whether the program has met its planned benefits and all component transition work is complete, or your program is expected to hand over the ongoing benefits to another program or sustaining entity. In such case, it's expected to have work required to transition the resources, responsibilities, risks, knowledge, good practices, and lessons learned to the sustaining entity. Only when the transitioning phases are completed, the program manager receives approval from the steering committee and/or portfolio management body to formally close the program. We're gonna talk more about the closure activities in the next chapter in the standard. Programs are different and so are their life cycles. Each program is unique with its own distinct mission. Programs are shaped by the expertise and experiences of their management teams and associated stakeholders. These stakeholders usually come from a variety of corporate domains, bringing a wealth of knowledge and expertise and creating a space for strong communication and teamwork. When everyone does their part well, the result is a strong and lasting program that benefits the whole organization. The lifecycle management performance domain helps program and project managers strengthen their leadership and oversight skills while balancing the program's structure, requirements, and stakeholder needs. The core purpose is the effective monitoring of programs creation, execution, and benefits delivery. The lifecycle management performance domain interacts with the governance, synergy, and benefits realization program management principles, as well as the benefits management, governance framework, strategic alignment, stakeholder engagement, and collaboration performance domains. In today's video, we covered the sixth and last program management performance domain, life cycle management. We talked about the three program life cycle phases: definition, delivery, and closure. Together, we demonstrated how the definition phase is split into two subphases: formulation and planning. We have also gone through how the program delivery phase encapsulates the entire component life cycle, where components start with authorization and planning, go through oversight and integration, and eventually end with transition and closure. Finally, we talked about program closure phase and what can be the focus there and who are key stakeholders for program managers to work with, and how this phase is closely positioned to the benefits management performance domain. At this point, we have completed the third chapter of the standard. Next up is chapter 4, which focuses on program activities, what they are, and how they are distributed across the program lifecycle. Keep in mind that this performance domain, along with the next chapter, contributes to 44% of the entire PgMP exam questions. No need to say that this is the most critical area and should be the biggest focus for your studies. That's it for today, and that's it for the program management performance domains. At this point, we have completed the third chapter of the standard, a very, very big milestone that you have achieved. Thank you for being here with me. We are almost there and only one chapter left for us to cover in the coming few videos. If you haven't subscribed yet, now is a very good time to do so. Your engagement and interactions keep me going. As usual, if you have any questions or want to share your thoughts, leave a comment below or direct message me on LinkedIn and I will make sure to reply to each one. Bye for now.